Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with Mastermind Agent, and welcome to the Referral Mastermind Call, where we talk about how to get more repeating referrals from your friends, family, and past clients. All right, so this is an open session where we talk about anything that you want to talk about on how you would like to get more repeating referrals, any challenges you're experiencing, or things you would like us to talk about. As we're waiting for folks to join us, I'm going to just bring up a quick couple of ideas of things that you should be considering working on here immediately to get more repeating referrals in this last quarter, the fourth quarter of the year. I'll tell you that a lot of people traditionally stop working in the fourth quarter, and I believe that that's a mistake. In my career, fourth quarter was typically one of my best quarters, and I think it was because I kept working when everyone else stopped. And the most motivated buyers and sellers are the ones out there that are working and looking for homes and looking to sell their property during that fourth quarter. So here's a couple things you can do for your repeating referrals that you should be doing like this week. We got Halloween coming up next week, and this is an awesome opportunity to do a Halloween costume contest, right? Where you reach out to your past clients and sphere of influence, and let them know that you're going to put on a quick contest where they post a picture of their costume on your Facebook page. And then you're going to have a contest to see who puts out the best costume. And you have a little reward for the winners. You can pick a winner either by yourself, by doing a random drawing, or seeing how many people actually go ahead and say click a like on that photo, and whoever has the most likes is going to win. So there's a lot of ways you can structure that. The whole point of it, though, is to give you an opportunity to reach out this upcoming week, to reach out to your past clients, your friends, your family, your sphere of influence, and say, hey, I'm putting on this Halloween costume contest, and I'd like you to participate. We're going to have some prizes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's really easy. All you got to do is take a picture of you or one of your family members in their costume, say your kids or your parents, and go ahead and post that up on the site, and we'll go ahead and pick a winner. So that's something you should be considering right now as an idea to reach out to your past clients and sphere of influence today. Again, a Halloween costume contest would be an excellent thing to do this upcoming week over the next 7 days. The other thing that I'd like to mention to you that I think you should be thinking about over the next 30 days is one of the biggest events that the top producers do, and that is a Pie Day giveaway. If you haven't done one, they're phenomenal. It's an amazing opportunity to reach out. It's a very low-cost event in the big picture of events, but almost every top producer does one of these events because it just has so many excellent ripple effects throughout not only your sphere, but the sphere of the people in your sphere. Okay, because what you're basically going to do, if you haven't heard of it before, is you're going to offer to give out a free pie for Thanksgiving, either pumpkin or apple or pecan. You get to select what you're going to offer during that event, and it gives you an awesome reason to reach out over the next couple weeks and talk to these folks and invite them to your event, invite them to pick up a free pie that they can share with their family. And as they're sharing that pie with their family, of course, their family is going to say, hey, where did this pie come from? And they're going to talk about you and the fact that they know this awesome agent that can help them with their business if it's required and needed. Anyway, the problem with PCSOI, I just talked to someone yesterday, is he said, I don't know how to reach out. I don't know what to say. I don't want to bug my people with the traditional line of, hey, who are you thinking about buying or selling in the next 90 days? Even though I'm an outgoing person, this guy was an I personality. He said, even though I'm an outgoing personality, that scares me. And I don't want to participate in that type of endeavor. So I haven't created my list because of that. And I had to bring up to him that there are a lot of other ways that you can do these reach outs that are going to be successful for you that can be very low intensity, right? In fact, you don't even have to mention real estate. Your other marketing should be mentioning real estate, where your reach outs are more fun and connection oriented. They're building relationships with folks because all the business that you should be having, it should be relational based rather than transactional based. It's certainly a lot more fun. It's a lot more enjoyable. It's easier. You're not typically in competition then. You've kind of reset the game board for you to win. So again, this upcoming next 30 days, you have this opportunity to set up this Pi Day event. And if you haven't done it, you really should start looking into it and how to do that. It's a phenomenal event, and I highly recommend you do it. And again, the next 7 days, you should be considering doing a Halloween costume contest. That's a phenomenal way to reach out and have a lot of fun. And then the next 30 days, you should be thinking about doing a Thanksgiving Pi Day event where you hand out a pie for Thanksgiving. Two awesome opportunities to reach out to your list. I recommend you do both. It's a great way to get active, especially if, for instance, you're experiencing any of the difficulties in the current market, right? If your business is slowing down, take some action, get out there and be active. Basically, in my opinion, what's happening right now, if you've experienced that, is people are taking an adjustment to the market. You know, it's an emotional change initially, and then they're going to settle into, hey, I still need to buy or sell a home. Let's go ahead and get this going. Who do I know who can help me? You want to be the person they think of when that conversation comes up. And so that's why these events are so popular. The top agents used to do one event a year, then they start to do four events a year, one a quarter. How many of them are doing a monthly? I'm even talking to people now that are doing it every 2 weeks. So you've got this great opportunity over the next 7 days and then 30 days to initiate an event. All right, let's do this at this point. Hopefully that was helpful. And as we're waiting for more folks to join us, let's go ahead and open this up and see if we've got anybody who has any questions for us that they would like to ask about their business and getting more repeat and referrals. Let's see if you have any issues, challenges, concerns that you would like us to address. Go ahead and bring those up. Go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know what you're thinking. Hey, Marie, do you have something to say?
How you doing, Mike?
Hey, Marie, nice to meet you.
How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Nice to meet you. I just want to say good. I just want to say thank you so much for all you do for agents. I appreciate you, and I really get a lot of what you send through the email.
Oh, thank you, Marie. That's fantastic.
I don't know. I really a lot of it, and it just helps me out, and it just gives me motivation to try something new or just to look in a different way to see if I can get some business. But I've been very fortunate because all of my businesses come from referrals, and where the
I think you might have had a tough line there, Marie, and maybe hopefully you'll call back in and we can continue that conversation. But that was very kind of you. I appreciate that. I do like to reach out and help out as much as I can. We've been doing these masterminds to help out more on a personal level, and hopefully that's helping people out. I think Marie made it back in. Hey, Marie, did you have anything else that you would like to say there? I think we kind of lost you. We'll give you a second if you do.
Oh, I'm sorry, because I muted you.
No problem.
Okay, so I don't know how much you got.
Yeah, I heard some of that, Maria. You were mentioning that some of the emails were helping out.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, what I was saying is that the reason I appreciate all that, all your emails help me out tremendously. I really appreciate all that. But right now, I'm stuck because I live in a second home community. It's the end of the season. Everybody has pretty much, all buyers are pretty much gone for the season now. And most of my business comes from referrals. So I've used up my referrals. All my friends have been referred me or bought themselves. So where I'm at now is, do I buy leads? There's over 500 realtors in my town. I don't know what to do at this point.
Sure. Okay, so let me just tell you, Marie, that your line is a little staticky, but I think I heard what you were saying. Um, so let me go into that. It sounds like you're in a resort community, that the season has
Yeah.
ended for that community. You're looking for, you've been getting referrals. You have a lot of competition in your market. I think you said 500 agents in the area. And you're trying to figure out, I assume, how to get
Mm-hmm.
more business as you're moving forward, and moving up towards this next season. So first of all, thank you for
Yeah.
opening that up to us. Um, a couple of thoughts I'll share, and then we'll open it up for the group and see what they have for you. So again, this is a resort community question. So you're going to have a lot of seasonality in your business, naturally, even more than most. Everybody in their market has seasonality, and so that's one event, right? That happens every single year. I know exactly what the seasonality happens in my market every single year. I'm sure you do too if you've been tracking it. And then we've got these events that happen at a macro level that also affect things, like we just had the interest rates move up, right? So that affects things on top of what would normally happen just in the regular seasonality of your market. The ebb and flow of your market is something that you want to learn about and make sure you're tuned into. And when the market goes slower, a lot of agents, they'll just stop working. And then what happens is when the market picks back up, they're not really prepared for that pickup. So let me give you an example. In my market, I'm in Metro Denver in Colorado. And every year that things start to slow down this time of year as far as volume, there's still people buying and selling. That's something you need to remember. They're always doing something during the year, but it slows down. And then my spring picks up. So March and April every year are the highest number of contracts in my market. And if you're, for everybody else listening, you may have something like that in your seasonality. Well, if you wait till March or April to start marketing and preparing and reaching out to people, you're behind the curve, because the people that were coming into the market and making contracts in March and April, they were actually starting to participate before that, probably in March, February, maybe even January. They were probably coming into the new year. They start to say, hey, let's do something different. They're chatting with their spouse, family member, et cetera, whoever is working with them on those concepts. And they're starting to reach out to agents in January and February. So again, if you wait till March or April, yeah, you're going to pick up business, but you kind of missed that big giant wave because the wave started earlier. So the thing that I recommend you do at this point, as far as a big picture, is to start building these relationships right now for when the business is going to pick back up in the spring in my market, or whatever it's going to be in your market. You have to know your own seasonality. Whenever that thing is going to pick back up, you've got to be promoting a good 90 days before that, maybe 120 days. And you should be building relationships all year round. So that's something I had mentioned at the very beginning of this call, which is you should consider getting out there. And right now, we've got this great opportunity for Halloween, where you can do a Halloween contest over the next 7 days. Very easy and very simple to do. You just tell people in your sphere to take a picture of their Halloween costume that is their favorite, and go ahead and post it up on your website. And then you can put them into a random drawing to pick a winner, or you can pick the best costume that you like. I don't recommend you do the picking, by the way. Have somebody else do the picking. You could have everybody do the liking. They could do a like. If you're doing it on, say, Facebook, they could do a like on the photo. Whoever has the most, that would be the winner. And then you have a prize. The reason you're doing that, by the way, is not the Halloween costume contest. It's the reach outs the week before. This upcoming week, if your business is slow, you need to be reaching out to all your people and chatting with them. You will drum up now business, and you'll be creating relationships for the future business. So you just call them up and say, hey, Jill, this is Mike Cerrone over at ABC Realty. How you doing today? Hey, it's fantastic. Just want to call real quick and catch up. And I want to let you know that we have a contest going on right now. We're having a lot of fun. We're doing a Halloween costume contest. I know you enjoy Halloween, right? They're going to say, yeah. I say, hey, tell you what, this Halloween, just take a picture of your costume or your kids' costumes and put them up on my website. And if you do, that'll enter you into a contest we're giving away $100 Amazon gift card as first place. And if you have other places, and we also have second and third place. You know, it's a really fun contest. Would you like me to send you an email on how you can get into that? Cool. Awesome. Hey, by the way, how are you doing? How's the house doing? How are the kids doing? Hey, that's fantastic. I just wanted to touch base with you. And that's it. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. Click. Notice I didn't even bring up real estate. Again, the reason is because if you're doing a full program, your other marketing, it keeps connecting you to real estate. Those phone calls are on a personal level to build the relationship and the connection on that intimate level with them. And the reason for that is a lot of times you'll be making those phone calls and people are going to say, I'm so glad you called. You know, John and I were just talking and we were thinking about moving before the end of the year because we got this tax consequence. Do you know anything about taxes? And they're going to ask these questions and start going, or my mom needs to move, or my dad needs to move. And is it a good time now, or should we wait? Now you're going to get into those conversations you want to get into. You're going to find this immediate business, as well as establishing the seeds that you can nurture for the long-term business. So you got an opportunity right now over the next 7 days to do that Halloween costume contest. And it's super, super simple to do. As I've already explained a couple of times, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to go through it. But it's a simple contest. It's a simple call. It's a simple connection. And then over the next 30 days, you got the Pi Day event that you can do. All right. Now you're in a resort market, so that's a little different. The Pi Day event is going to be a little harder to do, but you certainly can do the Halloween costume contest, right? You can also, oh, go ahead, Marie. Boy, Marie, you've had a tough time today. We got a lot of static on your line. Boy, this is tough. Is anybody else hearing Marie better than me? Can you raise your hand if you are? No. Yeah, we're all having a tough time, Marie. Marie, do me a favor. Maybe you can type in the chat some of your thoughts or questions, and we can try to help. I'm not sure if you see the chat over there. Poor Marie's been coming in and out. She's had a bad connection. While we're waiting for Marie to come back in, does anybody else have any issues or concerns they'd like us to talk about? Or would you like to talk about one of the contests or events that are coming up? Anything that you have to chat about, it's an open session. Here to help. What would you like to chat about? Go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Dave, how's it going?
It's okay, but I agree with what you're saying. You know, like sometimes we just have to do things on a steady basis, right? Even if we only talk to 10 or 20 people a day, even if nobody answers the phone, at least, you know, psychologically we're doing something, right? And again, and then when you talk to somebody, don't be sitting there saying, well, what's in it for me? Try to see what's bothering them, and maybe you can help them a little bit. Maybe it's just a little bit of word of advice, a little bit of encouragement, something like that. Maybe you made his day just to say how you doing, and you know, maybe you could refer them to somebody that might be able to help them, like, you know, I don't know, whatever it is. But the point is, you got to be doing something. And sometimes we think that if we're only doing this little bit, it doesn't make any difference. Maybe if you only do it once every month, it doesn't make much difference. But if you do it on a steady basis and you get into a habit, then it you know, I think you feel better, they feel better, and you just stay in touch with everybody, right? Because, you know, I mean, I think that's what you got to do, because sometimes I don't feel so good either, like even now. But, you know, I think instead of me sitting here brooding about my own situation, maybe like other people out there that I could help them with even a little bit, right? You know, and, you know, and maybe by helping them make me feel better too, right? You know?
That's absolutely correct, Dave. That's a really good point. If you are in a funk, right? If you happen to be in a funk for any reason, you know, you're kind of down or things aren't working the way you want, which happens to all of us at different times.
Yeah.
If we look internally, if we look inside and what happens in my experience is we start to dig a hole and we kind of start going down a spiral, and it can get pretty ugly internally. And the best way I found to snap out of that is do just what Dave said, which is reach out and try to help some people, right? Reach out and find out what's going on in their lives and try to see if you can work something for them out. And so that's why these reach out calls, you got the idea, Dave. It's building that relationship, not necessarily prospecting for business. I know that's weird, but the PCSOI world is a little bit different than, say, for sell by owners and expireds or open houses. Okay, those are immediate business things that you're trying to do. And so these reach out calls are more the personal connection, because you tell me, if you had the option to go buy a car from 3 people, one you heard was the really great car salesperson. She was the salesperson of the year and sold 500 cars. And another person, just called you out of the blue and said, hey, you want to buy a car? And then you got your friend, somebody who's been calling you up and trying to help you out. And they worked you through maybe even a personal challenge that you were experiencing. And they also sell cars. Who are you going to call? I think most people are calling the friend, right? Yeah. They're going to say, Sally, thank you so much for helping me. Remember, you helped me with that problem I was experiencing back in the summer. Well, now Sally and I are thinking about moving, and would you mind helping us? Would you mind help? Well, I guess I was giving the car example. Would you mind helping us buy a car? Right? You're basically, because you're taking it up to that next level, you're moving yourself up in the ranking. The personal connection will outrank everything. That's why PCSOI is also so valuable. You get to build a moat around your people and your business that other people have a very difficult time getting into. Warren Buffett loves to talk about building moats. And the way you do it in this business is that PCSOI, the sphere of influence, and building the relationships, building real strong.
And also, try to work on yourself a bit too, right? Like even go for a walk, like 20-minute walk each day. Yeah. That'll make you feel a little bit better, maybe read a positive mental book thing,
Sure.
Maybe try to, there's certain things you can think about during the day. Try not to think about the negative things, think about the positive things, right?
Here's a couple more with that, Dave, is on your walk, make a call. Now you're out in nature, you're breathing fresh air, you're feeling better. It's going to come through in your voice when you're talking to whoever you're talking to. Today's technology, you could even turn on that cell phone and do a video. Hey, Sally, I was just walking down through this trail over here, and I want to show you. Check out the leaves. They're all changing. I was just thinking about you. And when we bought your house 3 years ago and it was autumn, I don't know, whatever the connection is, you can use the technology now to send a little video message as well. That's pretty cool too, right? Yeah. So just use your creativity. The whole idea is, how do I connect? And Dave, you hit it right on. Dave, I'm going to take a look here in chat because I think Marie got back in.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Let's see what she had to say. She said, sorry, my internet is terrible. We'll try the Halloween costume contest. Thank you for your direction. Marie, I just thought of something else for you. And Dave, I'm just going to do this just real quick. Marie, I just wanted to mention this real quick before I forgot. You're in this, and that's the beauty of the brainstorm, is you start to think of some ideas. And again, maybe other people will think of ideas for Marie. She's in a resort community. Here's an idea. You said your season is just ended. So I assume it's kind of a summer resort community. Here's an idea for a contest. All right. You could do the Halloween right now, but the very next contest you should do during October or the next couple of weeks or whatever would be, how about sending a picture of your favorite experience at your resort property? Okay. What was your favorite experience this year? And again, I don't know where you are, but maybe you're on a lake and they're boating, or maybe you were at the beach and they were in the sand, or maybe they were up in the mountains and they were doing a ropes course or something. Again, I don't know what the community is, but you could do some picture. You could ask them to send a picture or a video, or even just describe it. And you could have that kind of contest. The beauty of that is they're reliving their experience of that joy that they had in this community, in this resort area. And it makes them want to be there again. It makes them think about it again. And they're going to connect those good feelings to you. Remember, this is like a higher level kind of marketing, where you're going into the emotional side of marketing. let me give you one other thing that might be very helpful if you haven't already identified this. Every single person in the world makes a decision based on emotion, okay? Then they justify it with logic. You could take the most logical oriented person you've ever met. They talk like a robot. I mean, they just go on and on. That same person, though, if they're going to make an emotional decision, do I like the person? Do I not? Do I like this situation? Do I not? The gut, you call it a gut reaction. And then they're going to make it sound logical, though, by saying logical justifications for why they're doing it. So I hired Dave because he seems to know a lot about the market. I hired Dave because he's been around a long time. He's got a lot of experience. I hired Dave because we went to the same school, although that now goes on emotion. But you see what I mean? They're going to justify it with the logic. Dave, I heard Dave sells homes for 2.3% more than the average agent. They're going to use some kind of logic, but that's not how they made their decision. They made their decision based on they like Dave, right? They like Dave, and that's why they're going to do this. And then they're going to justify that reason with logic. And you can use that in all of your marketing. You should always try to connect with people on that emotional level, and then they can come in and justify things with the logic. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I was talking to someone about that the other day. When you're promoting, like for instance, in this market, this might be helpful. I'm going to go into that in just a second. Let me just see. I feel bad for poor Marie. Let's see what else she had. Oh, good. So you liked our idea. Awesome. Excellent. All right, Marisa, give that a try. Come back and tell us how that works, where you, again, in your resort market, they enter a contest to tell you their favorite experience in the last year or the last season in that resort market. I think you're going to like that. Let me give you something that may be helpful right now. And I think Dave and I actually talked about this a little bit last week too. And that is this. Right now, because the interest rates have been moving up, a lot of people are nervous, they're scared, they don't know what's going to happen, things have been shaken up. And remember what it is it's herd mentality. It's herd mentality, right? Everybody was rushing into the market because everybody else was rushing into the market because everybody else was rushing into the market, right? It creates this amplifying effect. And what we're seeing now is the reverse of that, okay? Because when people start getting nervous and they saw the interest rates going up and the media did their thing, and so people are now kind of pulling back in a herd, right? So in a volume. Now, there's always the constant level of business, though, people that have to buy and sell homes for their reason. And then right above that are the people that want to buy homes for their reason. And then above that are the speculators. So the speculators have fallen out, and that's a good thing. That's why our market's slowing down. And we no longer have to get rid of inspection clauses and appraisal clauses and pay 20% more than the asking price and crazy things that were happening. So the speculator part goes away. That's good. But you're still going to have people in the market that want to buy and sell that has nothing to do with whether the value goes up or down. Listen carefully to that. This is a home. This is not an investment. Okay, if you're working with investors, that's fine. That's hardcore numbers, and now you have a different conversation. But we're talking about people who have a home, where they live, where they raise their kids, where they launch and go off to their favorite church, or they like to go ride their mountain. I love riding my mountain bike. They live next to a mountain bike trail, okay, because they want to ride their mountain bike. This is the place that they like to go and do their craft in their craft room. They like to knock down a wall and see if they can do that and buttress it up, or they want to paint it a certain color. All the kinds of things they couldn't do in a rental. So there's these reasons that people want to buy a home that has nothing to do with the interest rates or what the market is doing, whether it's going up or down or sideways or whatever. These are the people you want to tap into. And when you do, you want to go into the emotional side. And the way you go into the emotional side is you paint pictures and you tell stories. So as an example, you got to identify who you're talking to. And if you're talking to a renter, you may say the kind of things I just mentioned. Hey, how would you like to own your own home where you could paint the wall any color you want? How would you like to have your own home where you can have that dog that you wanted? You like cats and your landlord won't let you have cats? Why don't you get your own home? You can have as many cats as you want. Okay. Hey, how do your kids have enough space to play in the side of the apartment building? Would you rather have your own backyard? Okay, these are like these emotional questions that start to get people thinking and stimulating. Better yet, then, is to tell a story. What I recommend you do right now that would be very valuable is to go back through your database of past clients, remember what their stories are, and ask them if they will do a testimonial about their experience. Okay. If they will do a video, would be the best. Okay. About their experience. And then you might be part of the story. That'd be fantastic. But really, it's their experience. Geez, I was living in this. You're looking for this kind of story for this particular group. I was living in an apartment. I got a call from Vivica. She called me up. Excuse me, I got her postcard. Let's start there. I got a postcard from her. I called her up, and she was so nice over the phone. She explained how we could buy a home. I never thought we could buy a home because I didn't think I could get the down payment together, and I was worried about my credit. But Vivica walked me through it. She showed me that there was this really cool low down payment program that I didn't know about. I only had to put 3% down. It was amazing. In fact, I was able to get the money from my parents, and they were able to give me a gift. I think that's what they called it, a gift. And I was able to do that. And I was able to check out what happened next month. I'm now living right next to the school that my kids are going to, and they're getting a great education. I'm so excited about that. I live a couple blocks away from the park that I like to go walk my dog. And the best part, I'm now only 3 miles away from my mom, who's getting up there in age, and I get to go see her and visit her. Whatever their story is, now it becomes real. So if you can get them to give those descriptions and the more details and reasons that they bought a home, the better, because somebody listening is going to say, oh, yeah, I want to live next to my parents. I want to help them out now. Or I want to be next to that school so my kids can go to the school. Or I want to go walk my dog in the park, just like that person, right? I better call Vivica because she's going to help me do this. That's the connection you want them to get. It's emotional, has nothing to do with. Now, by the way, I laced in the down payment and stuff, but you don't even need that. It's not as relevant. What's relevant is their lifestyle, their living, their environment, their ability to do what they want, right? You should get as many of those stories as possible, whatever their reason was for buying the home. I wanted to buy a home because I like to work on cars. And I got this home. It had 3-car garage on the side. Victor was able to help me get this really cool house with a 3-car garage, and it had high ceilings, so I could put my hoist in and I could pull my engines out and I could work on them and drop them back in. And nobody could tell me I couldn't do it like the last place I was renting, right? You want that, and any emotion they give is even better. Let them rant and rave. That's fantastic. Okay, because that's real. That's what real life is all about. So again, if you can get them on video, that's great. If you can't, at least ask them to write the story out. It's not as powerful, but it'll work, especially if you can tag it in with a picture. You can put that on a postcard example or a social media post. The mediums change, but the action, the reach out is the same. So maybe that helps a little bit to start thinking about these emotional connections. And right now, as things have slowed down a little bit, just do the reach outs. And you're also in those reach outs. In fact, that could be your reach out. You're looking for stories about why people, I'm putting together a series of why people went out and bought their home. Do you remember why you bought your home? Yeah. Would you mind if we got together on a quick Zoom call and you could tell me the story of buying your first home? That'd be really cool. I could share it with people. Would you mind us doing that? You're going to find people that are going to say yes. Okay. So that's another idea. Hope that helps. I'm looking over at poor Marie here to see how she's doing. She's going to try to dial in. Okay, cool. So does anybody else have any ideas on that or anything you'd like to add? If you do, go ahead and unmute yourself and let me know what you're thinking.
I think those are good ideas. First, thank you so much for all that you do for our community. And I'm kind of switching gears because I have a question. I am looking to go on my own again. And I'm in this time, like you mentioned previously, this is our time we should be ramping up with our clients. And I'm just concerned about me missing something in my shift. Are there any things that you would recommend that I just pay real close attention to as I'm making this shift? Because I'm determined to make the shift. I just don't want to make it where it's too negatively, too much of a negative impact for me and my business.
Vivica, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for bringing that up. So talk to me a little bit more about like what you're doing and what you first of all, tell us what you're doing. Let's start there. When you say you're going to be going out on your own, what do you mean by that? And therefore we're trying to get to why do you think this would be a negative issue, right? So tell me what you're thinking.
Well, I've been with a firm for the past few years. I've been in the business over 30, kind of like in and out, more consistently the past, 3-4 years. I've closed about 100 in the past, year and a half, about 105 or so properties, primarily a listing agent. But I've been a broker for, like I said, a long time. And I just want to take this chance on me. I've always worked for other companies. I'm ready to just take the whole chance on me and just don't want to missteps or make too many missteps in that process. So just kind of things that I need to make sure that I am addressing in this transition.
Okay. So this is great. You have, if I heard you correctly, you said over the last 18 months, 2 years, you've listed and sold about 105 properties. Did I hear that correctly? Yeah, that's phenomenal. So let me ask you this. Did you generate those leads and listings yourself, or were those handed to you by the company that you're currently with?
I generated 25% of them.
Good. And the 25% of them, so that'd be 25 to, not quite, but almost 30 closings. Would that support you in the lifestyle that you want to live if you were to earn, the majority of the commission because you're running your own show at that point, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, cool. So you now have a comfort level that you can generate the business necessary for you to go out on your own. Because I assume you've ran the numbers and it makes sense. Your concern then is, hey, you've been with a team. I'm starting to remember your story a little bit. And I think we're going to be talking in a couple of days, which I'm looking forward to. And we need to keep doing that. But if I remember correctly, you're working for a really big, strong team and you were their listing agent. And you've kind of learned a lot in that position about how to go out there and meet people and talk to them and list their homes, correct?
I'll give them some of that credit. Absolutely.
You betcha. And so, but you've been inside the machine. That's the beauty of being an assistant. You've been inside the machine, and I assume you've been paying attention about how it works, how it operates, and what you can learn from that and take forward into your operation. So I would make a note of all the little lessons that you've learned sitting inside that big machine, because I won't mention names, but you're with a pretty big group and they have a pretty good machine running, if I recall things correctly. And so I would say, what are they doing to generate all these listings that I could duplicate in my new business? Because see, now I got to be careful here, but if you're talking to the general public, branding doesn't mean so much, okay? And if you talk to your sphere of influence, the brand of the company doesn't mean much. However, the brand of the agent does mean a lot to your sphere of influence. I wanted to distinguish those. So what I would do is I would make sure I'm building out my PCSOI and I've got that database and that I've established that first. I keep beating this drum over the last couple of years, but it's what I've noticed over all the top agents. That's what they do. They build the foundation on the PCSOI and then they start to grab other business from other sources, mainly to turn in and grow their PCSOI. So that would be the first thing I would do from a business lead generation perspective is build out your PCSOI. Make sure you have your formalized list. Make sure you in this case, you're leaving a company, make sure you have it in your possession. Make sure that you start to add to it anybody you think needs to be added. Remove anybody you think doesn't need to be there. Make sure it's a solid list and then create your marketing plan to move forward with those people over the course of the next year. And you're going to be branding it with yourself. and again, if I understood you correctly, you're going to be an independent business. That's fine. You are the business. You are the product. That's especially with listings. They hire you as the agent rather than as buyers. Buyers are going to purchase the property. The property sells itself. And being a strong listing agent is difficult because you have to sell your skills. You've been on a team where I assume you're also selling their system, right? Their system and then your skills combined is what's making it work. And so the other thing you'll want to do is make sure that your new business has those systems in place that you can fall back and leverage on. So again, you're in the machine. I focus on right now while you're in the machine, what are the systems that they've established to take that listing from, to go from, I don't know these people, to these people have raised their hand, to these people have set an appointment, or become a lead, to we've set an appointment with them, to we've gone out and gone on the listing presentation to meet them, to get it hired, to, oh, they hired us, what happens next? We're going to do the marketing, to we get an offer and we negotiate, to the under contract phase, to the close phase. And then what people forget is the next page is the post-close phase, which is how do I get them into my PCSOI for long-term repeating referrals? You need to map that all out because now as the business owner, you have to have the system. You have to operate the system. And so if you are able to establish that system, you're going to be way ahead. And let me help clarify what that means, because people get confused. I was confused when people have say systems are the solution. Systems are the solution. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But what the heck is a system? I logically understand what I just said. It's a flow, but how do I make that work? And the way you make it work, ready? The key word is checklist. Checklist. Okay. Each of those parts of the process to move people along has its own checklist. So the checklist for doing your marketing, a checklist for doing your prospecting, a checklist for what happens when a lead comes in, a checklist for your follow-up on that lead, a checklist for setting the appointment, a checklist for going out on the appointment, a checklist for your listing presentation itself, a checklist for your post-listing presentation, assuming they hired you. By the way, a checklist for if they didn't hire you and you want to follow up. In other words, they're all just little checklists, and that becomes the system. The beauty of the checklist is if this takes off, you can hire help to come in. And the way you train them is check out the checklist. This is the checklist. This is how Vivica does it. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to help me with 1, 3, and 5. I'm going to do 2 and 4. Let's go. Does that make sense? Cool. Tell me now, what are we missing that we can help you with right now? We'll have a few more minutes on this call as far as you doing your transition. And I know we're going to talk again in a day or two. I think I saw you set up a call, which is cool. But is there anything else I can answer right now?
No, because I plan to dig a little bit deeper when I have that one-on-one time with you.
Cool.
But it gives me a couple of other things to bring up when we do talk. And it is about, because one of my things was my checklist and saying, hey, so I'm trying to get them prepared and possibly be able to shoot them over or share them with you.
You betcha. Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say this. I'm excited for you. Okay. Going out on your own is fun. It's scary. It's nervous. There's all the emotions floating in it. But this business is for entrepreneurs. Okay. You're an entrepreneur in your role as that listing agent. You are, because you're doing a lot of things on your own. You're definitely an entrepreneur as an agent in a brokerage. The way the market has changed over the last 50 years, you're all usually running out on your own anyway. And now you're talking about creating an independent brokerage, which creates other issues like how do you set up the business correctly? How do you make sure you got escrow accounts? Am I following all the state laws? Am I going to be able to handle an audit from the state? Not the IRS. That's a different problem. But you're going to get an audit from your state for sure. They like to do audits of new brokerages in the beginning. So make sure you're setting up your escrow accounts correctly at the beginning. Make sure I'd call them up. I know it sounds scary, but just call up the commission, the real estate commission in your state, and say, hey, I'm setting up a new brokerage. I want to make sure I do it right. Tell me what I need to do. What's the biggest pitfall that people make? They'll tell you because they just want to help. They're not out there to be the big bad whoop. They just want to help. That's what I found out in my audits. They come in and they're like, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I'm like, oh, no, they're going to crush me. And they go, no, just here's how you fix it. Here's how you fix it. Here's how you fix it. So that might be a thing there. I would set up your business as an LLC, okay, or a corporation rather than as a sole proprietorship, okay, right? Because then you have the legal protections. You got to make sure you follow all the rules to do that, but it's pretty simple. Just, look out there. It's done so much now. It's been done for so long. Just look online or read a book. You'll be able to figure it out pretty quick. Or hire an attorney if you don't want to do those. Talk to your realtor association. They may have some information for you actually on creating an independent brokerage. You want to be careful about who you talk to early on though, because of your current arrangement. Okay. Anyway, those are some ideas. The big one that I think you need to focus on though is how am I going to generate the business? Because you can do all those other things I said about setting up this operation. And if no business is coming in the door, you're dead. The whole thing is going to crash and burn. Okay. So, and depending on how much savings you have and everything, that can happen fast. And in fact, sometimes it hurts to have too much savings because then you go slow. Okay. That's been my experience. I've started 11 different companies. So sometimes if you have too much cash, you're like, oh, I can figure it out tomorrow. I got some time, and it kind of gets pushed off until it becomes this emergency. Whereas if you have short resources, sometimes you just jump in fast. And you got to prioritize because there are going to be a lot of pools on your time. And the number one priority for you has got to be lead generation and lead conversion. Yeah. And so that's why I say that should be the number one plan that you create. If you can create that good funnel for more leads and listings to come in, everything else is going to play out. Everything else will work. If you can't get that part of the funnel working, if you can't get the lead generation coming in, nothing works. It doesn't matter whatever, all the beautiful stuff you have behind it won't matter because there's no one to serve. Does that help? Okay, good. Well, Vivek,
yes, absolutely.
Awesome. I look forward to our chat that we're going to have in a day or two or whatever it's coming up. And congratulations. That's exciting.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So I got just a few more minutes. Is there anybody else that would like to mention anything for us to chat about today? Don't be shy. Got any issue you'd like us to chat about? Hop on and get you an answer for. Now's your time. Go ahead and unmute yourself and throw it out to the group. Although I got to say, I kind of hogged the spotlight here. I should have opened it up for the group too. Whoops. I didn't do a good job today. We'll work on that. All right, let me ask this. So we have basically two big issues that came up today. One was, hey, I got a resort market and I'm trying to figure out what to do in that resort market. Because the resort season has ended. Any ideas for that? That was Marie. And then Vivica came to us and talked about, hey, starting her own company and getting that rolling and wanting to make sure she was covering her bases. If you got anything, let's open up to the mastermind. If you guys got any comments you'd like to give to either one of these folks on what they're doing or what you can see or might help them, go ahead and unmute yourself and let them know.
Yes, please. I welcome all insight, questions, concerns, curiosities. And by the way, I have thick skin, so please bring it on.
All right. Well, if you think of something, don't be shy. By the way, I'm a D personality. I don't mind if you unmute yourself and start talking over me. Does not bother me at all. I just want to get the information out there and help people, okay? So while we're waiting for people to think about those two scenarios and maybe give an answer, I'll just say this. Vivica, your statement of, hey, bring all the ideas, I want to take them on, it won't hurt my feelings, that's an entrepreneurial statement, okay? So I feel much better about you moving forward because you got to take in input. The problem with some entrepreneurs sometimes are real headstrong. We have a vision and we're just moving towards it and we'll run right off a cliff because people are telling us, no, watch out for the cliff, watch out for the cliff. And we don't listen to them because we're running. So it's good to be listening to people and getting the input. Now you have to be the decider. You have to decide whether it's a good idea, bad idea, whether you're incorporated or not, but definitely try to listen. Okay. Any last thoughts here for Vivica or Marie? Again, Vivica is going out to start her own independent brokerage, and she's wondering if there are any things that she should be thinking about. And Marie is out in a resort community market, and she's trying to figure out how to drum up business now that the season is slowing down. Okay. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody coming in for the mastermind today. I hope you got something out of it. Again, these recordings, we try to record it. And if that worked, we'll be posting the recording out on YouTube on our channel, Mastermind Agent Network. That's what you would type into YouTube to get there, or Google. And then also we put it into the Facebook group under the Referral Mastermind Call. So we try to post them there as well. Usually within 24 hours. Sometimes if I'm slow, it's 48 hours, but you can see it there. If you heard things that you want to re-listen to, that's where it would be. And also, just so you know, these mastermind calls are every Tuesday. So same time, same place. If you come up with ideas that you want to share, bounce around, please come in. It's an open session. You can talk about any topic you want. We prefer to talk about repeat and referrals, but we will open it up if we don't have any specific repeat and referral questions or concerns. Great to see everybody today. Thank you so much for joining me. Dave, thank you. Marie and Vivica, thank you so much, everybody, for coming in and participating. That's what makes these things work. And y'all have a great week. Take care. Bye now.